Hi guys. I was like, is this for me? Like, I'm the worst. I like equal, sweet and low, all this battery stuff. How you doing?
Very good.
Yeah, this is, you have a problem. Yeah.
So I was a fan of the movie in 2000, and I think the gender switch of making it a daughter is a really wonderful reinvention. Besides the fact that it meant you could play the part, did that really appeal to you?
Besides, it gave me a chance.
Yes.
Yeah, it did. It did really appeal to me. It's funny, when you stop and think about it, there aren't a ton of those relationships, father-daughter relationships being portrayed on TV right now. I think it's a little bit, it's kind of special that we get to explore it. I think it really appealed to me because these people were, you really see who they truly are. You see them at their worst. You see them at their best. And I think the fact that they're trying to relate as people that are the same age, right? But they're related, and one person has to be the parent and one person has to be the child. And is that always Frank being the parent and Raimi being the child, or does it switch? Because who are you at your core? So I know, yeah, there was a lot of things that appealed to me about it. Yeah. I'm just going to splendid equal that.
Yeah. I'm sure you don't need more stuff to put in.
I think this should cover it. If it doesn't, I'm in big trouble.
So when her second set of memories comes up, is that sort of like what you deal with as an actor, every role, because you get all of their backstory memories plus your own?
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of the same thing, especially when you do shows that give you backstory as you go along. You could be 4 episodes into a show, and they're like, oh, by the way, this is what happened when you were 10. And you're like, oh, didn't see that coming, but I was playing it all along, I think. You do have that sort of, at this show, the memories hit you as you have in real time changed it. In 1996, as it changes, the memories come, I think the memories come when they come. You recall it when you recall it. And I feel a little bit bad for Raimi because I don't know how overwhelming that is, but it's a really interesting concept. Yeah.
In the pilot, obviously, once she realizes what she has access to, she makes a selfish decision, which is to save her father's life. To what extent is that now a Pandora's box? And if we look across the course of a season, what do you imagine she'll be left with at the end of a season? The more she starts to kind of poke at the knots in her own personal history or in the personal history of other situations.
Yeah, it's once you open Pandora's box, it's a really good way of looking at it. How do you close it again, or can you close it again? Can you ever get back to what your life was if that's what you want? She does make a selfish decision, but I think she thinks saving her father, or telling him at least how he's killed so that he can prevent it, I don't think she stops and asks what the consequences are. I think she's like a dog with a bone, and she's like that at work as a cop too. She just goes, she gets a gut reaction and she goes. And I think, it's her dealing with the repercussions is the series, is trying to figure out what the damage is, what she's done, and the dilemma of the moral dilemma, like, is it right or wrong? Like, of course you want Frank to live. Why would you want him to pass away? But what's the cost? And I think that's gonna be a big part of our story.
Riley said that you guys were acting partners for a long time. In that relationship, you obviously come at these parts in a very equal way. Playing a father and a daughter, though, what happens there where two people who are accustomed to a sense almost being brother and sister suddenly have to become parent and child?
Well, it's interesting. I think it's amazing that, having known Riley for 10 years, I've also known him through so many different phases of his life. We always grow as people, and when he initially read this show, and he was like, I'm in love with it. It's the one. Like, it's the one. I was so excited for him because it's a new chapter for him to play a father and to take on that role. For us, what was a huge benefit of knowing each other and working on all these auditions that we work on together and breaking scripts down together and all this stuff, we are so comfortable being vulnerable and being like you are with a family member, because that's what Raimi and Frank have. They kind of are who they are, and they say what they think, and I think that's not like a wall that we have to break down, Riley and I. It's already down. So I think that helps. I think it helps the chemistry. And you know, I feel so safe with him. I feel like I totally trust him as an actor, and I hope he feels the same way. You'll have to ask him.
If you had the opportunity to travel to another time or communicate with someone from another time, who would you talk to or where would you go?
I don't even know where I'd start. I don't even know where I'd start. I mean, yes, I would do it. And I should probably, like, you know, I've seen enough of the things where you're going, you don't mess with time. You can't be seen. You know, you can't breathe. But I would totally want to do it. Yeah, I would go to, like, I would just want to see, like, all of, you know, all over the world at different time periods, you know, different forces of history, you know, like dynasties rise and fall and the Roman Empire. It's just like, I just do everything. How much time do I have to do it? Can I just like keep doing it more and more? Yeah.
Would you go back to 1996?
96 was an okay year for me. Yeah. School was kind of getting hard at that point. I don't know. I remember liking the music. I should never wear those clothes again. It was a bad time for clothes for me. A lot of like velour and white stripes and platform Skechers shoes or something. It was just not a happy. Yeah, 1986. 1986, I think for all of us, is a bit more accessible. You know, in the original movie, it's 1969, I think, and you know, I think I know what the 60s are, but I can't. It's not. I don't have access to it like I do in 1996. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember what was the #1 hit on the radio back then. You know, don't ask me. I don't actually know. But
Spice Girls.
it was probably, yeah. Tell me what you want. Jamming out on the cassette. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I would go back to 96. I think there's so many options, but I do think what would be really scary and trippy and all that stuff would be meeting your ancestors, meeting family members, like great grandparents, and the choices they made. You know, I'm American. Somebody made the decision to move to America. Like, who made that decision and then thereby made me what I am? You know, it would be really bizarre, but cool, interesting.
What are you most excited for the audience to see about the show?
I think I'm most excited for the audience to see the characters, and I really hope that they take to them. I think that they're relatable people. I think that they're pretty ordinary people that just are doing their best to kind of, you know, live life. You know, they're trying to succeed at life. You know, and you know, sometimes it's not always pretty, but you know, that's life. Yeah, I think they're sweet.
Your pilot director is Brad Anderson.
Yes.
He's a director of horror film, horror television mostly.
Okay.
Why do you think that choice was made? What do you think he brought texturally to the pilot?
I think what he brought to the pilot that I can't imagine anyone else doing is the tone, it's the visual, is how you feel so immersed in these people's lives. It's very up close, it's very in your face, it's very, you know, these are these people, and I think a lot of it had to do with how it was shot and sort of the music and just sort of the execution. You know, us as actors, we do our best, but you know, the director has a lot to do with it. And I was just really impressed. I was really proud of it, which is, you know, you don't always get to say that, but I was really proud of it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, should I leave this for you guys? Do you want the sweet and low and the